What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. So we just got back from Florida truck meet actually two days ago now. And if y'all didn't already see, the mad scientist had a little complication with his truck. So at this year's Florida truck meet, they finally started letting us mega truck guys in on the burnout competition. Now, we weren't allowed to do any kind of tugs or anything like that. What we could do is JH Diesel brought a big old tow rope, the same kind that we use when we do our truck tugs. So truck one would basically act like the anchor. They'd be sitting in the middle of the burnout pad, and they'd have a tow rope hooked to them. And whoever was going to do a burnout, they'd hook to the end of that tow rope and go ahead and just start lighting their freaking tires up. Well, the mad scientist brought his freaking super badass GMC LS powered freaking supercharged pro charger freaking truck. Oh, brother. Freaking 1,200 horsepower, and he had one hell of a rip. Here's a video from his rip. It's freaking sick. How badass is that? The fire wasn't real badass. I mean, it looked kind of badass, but it wasn't badass because it melted all kinds of shit on Brian's truck. So I'm actually just got off of work. I got out of work a little bit later than I was hoping, but I'm heading on over to the mad scientist's home laboratory so we can go ahead and figure out what in the hell's going on with this truck, because we got another truck tug award coming up at the barn on June 25th, hosted by Trucks Gone Wild, and I sure as hell want to go, but I don't got a truck, so I gotta be a truck slut a little bit, be able to ride with the mad scientist, hopefully in his super bitchin' truck. So we're gonna head on over there and give him a hand to figure out what the hell is going on, and hopefully it's nothing too catastrophic and we can get it all dialed in and figured out and be able to make it to the freaking barn truck tugs. Oh man, I freaking love those truck tugs. Even though I don't even got a truck to go because mine's still blown up, I'm still freaking super amped up to be able to go to that event, be able to light some tires up, throw some diesel smoke in the air. I don't know if anybody else is running nitrous. I think that one guy, the JSJ truck, that white one, that white Ford, pretty sure I seen him purging nitrous, but I don't know, he don't seem to like me too much, so I don't think I'll be able to ride with him. But anyways, I think Josh Mendenhall, our other buddy that really is instrumental in all of our motor work type stuff, pretty sure he's going to be over there helping too, so wish us luck, y'all. And by the way, make sure you hit the like button at the bottom of this video, and make sure you hit the subscribe button down there on my channel name. That way you'll get notified anytime I upload any other videos, like Super Bitchin' Bikini Contest, or Super Bitchin' freaking Truck Tug Award videos, or when we continue resurrecting the Killin Mega Truck. All kinds of good content coming y'all's way. All you gotta do is freaking subscribe. Oh boy, here we go. Well, we're back at the mad scientist laboratory, and his truck still isn't together yet. What are you doing, dude? Freaking amateur hour. So what'd you just make this? You made that spacer? Why'd you have to do that?
Why'd you ask me this shit when I'm in the middle of something?
You gotta explain.
Jesus, let me have a beer and then we
Come on, Brian.
No, we can do this later.
The fans need to know, bro.
We can do this later.
Got a new intake, I see, because you melted your other one. So what are you doing now?
Zach? Yeah, exactly. About to push an innocent person off of a tire.
He loves me, guys. This is just how he shows it. All right, y'all, I don't know if you caught that new intake that was sitting in there. That was just in there for fitment, so now we pulled it back out, and now it's time to start fixing some of the carnage.
Okay, hold on. There you go. Okay, better. Can you fucking grab that? I think it's like on the bottom of the head, so I think it's like half easy to get to. Wrenches.
I think I know the problem. I think some of your harnesses are melted.
Ain't got no gas in it.
Full too, because these ones still go up there.
Yeah.
So, when you don't know much about motors, you get tasked with these kind of jobs. You gotta go through and finish getting all this crap off. I already got a lot of it off. Back to good clean loom. Back to good clean loom over here. Just gotta clean this area up now. Get this crap off so that we can get the crappy wire out and put the good wire in. Now I gotta do the same thing over here. And over there. While they do the smart guy stuff over there. And here we go. Alright, y'all, making some freaking progress here. Gotta let them so far. They're literally melting themselves into like one solid freaking brick. It's a real to pull it apart without actually breaking the wire. so we can follow it because some of the colors are the same. All right, y'all, so we got one harness apart and all the nastiness off it to where we can see where we got a splice. Start right here. And it can go all the way over here where it's nice and clean and get all this nastiness out. I got on all the parts so we can see where each wire goes. Now on to the next one. So he's got to swap out this wire. He's got to clip it back there is what he was just saying. Probably just add a whole new piece back to the battery. Got to replace those. Got to repaint the hood. Got to replace that connector. So how you feeling, Brian?
Feeling good.
Pretty good news, man. Just some wire and an O-ring. But he hasn't got my labor rate yet. Just saying. We'll just deduct it off of my ever-growing machining bill. Battle wounds. So that right there is what caused the fire. So those are injector O-rings. They go around those injectors. See, these kind of sit like this with an O-ring on the top and an O-ring on the bottom. When it's all together, it looks like that. So the yellow ones are up here and the red ones are down here. And one of them was a little pinched, like in this photo. So then it was spraying fuel out. As soon as that fuel went down and hit the header, that caught on fire, and that created the bonfire in the hood of Brian's truck. Melted all the wires, and that's the way the cookie crumbles. Well, y'all, as you could probably tell, the mad scientist was in no mood for my freaking nonsense last night. So worked on the truck just a little bit, got some of the wiring harness plugged back in, and now I'm headed back over there to help him get her all cleaned up. A couple more little things to tweak and dial in, and then it's truck tug of war time! Oh yeah! Freaking super pumped up. So hopefully I can get him to give a little rundown on the stuff he did, because he did some pretty cool improvements to the truck when I wasn't even there. I actually didn't even know he was doing them until I came over to the shop and they were already done did. So hopefully he can give me a little rundown, because he made some sweet new aluminum pieces for his engine, and he got I think got like a whole new intake apparatus too. Pretty sweet. So hopefully I can get him to maybe explain some of that for y'all, because it's pretty sweet. It's pretty freaking banging, and I'm pretty sure the truck is gonna go start roasting some freaking tires tomorrow, baby. Freaking doing some just like that, freaking just smoking them up. Gonna be super freaking bitching, letting you know, bro. Real deal. See, while they're doing the smart guy stuff, I get tasked with really important freaking procedures. See? Now this mother's spray wax crap that I got seems to be working pretty good. The old boy likes to do some freaking burnouts, so we got rubber all over the freaking tailgate. Look, it's like right there, there, freaking all over the place. But it is coming clean now, slowly but surely. Sounds like they're cutting some metal up there. That's a smart guy job. It's not a job for Zacho at the moment. I'm not considered a smart guy when it comes to working on his truck. Whatever, dude.
Watch fires. All right. Fires.
Come on, baby. Well, damn. Everything was freaking running, and then she just shut back off. He's tried turning it over a few different times, and it will not fire back up. So now we're gonna start messing with the fuel regulator. So that is actually right here, and that is actually what gives the fuel to the motor. So in the midst of everything, the mad scientist did do a couple little upgrades to this engine too. A couple of things I'm gonna explain here in a minute. One of those things being the fuel regulator. So he's gonna go ahead and pull that new fuel regulator out, put the old one back in, because that's pretty much the only thing that has changed as far as the fuel side of things on this engine. Hopefully that's all it is. We'll put that back to the way it was. Hopefully we'll be back ready to go do some truck tug warn. Where's that one go to? I was only going like 45.
You hear what it's doing? No. It's pushing the fuel back through the pump the other way. That's what that noise is. And it's going because you can watch it on here. It goes fuel.
So y'all are gonna get a kick out of this. So we're sitting here freaking screwing this thing, trying to figure out why the hell won't it hold fuel pressure? The fuel system is literally back to exactly how it was before. Nothing's changed. And it would build fuel pressure and then go right away. So after giving it more and more thought, Mr. Mad Scientist decided to add a little bit of fuel to it because, you know, maybe the fuel level is kind of low, which doesn't make any sense because he put a freaking ton of fuel in it before he went to those truck tugs that they had over at the Florida truck meet. So he had like 25 gallons or so in the truck. So it doesn't really make any sense to have to add any, but maybe the fuel level got low. Maybe he went through a lot more fuel than we were anticipating, and maybe it's just not picking it up. So he added 5 gallons of fuel to it, and the fuel level on the gauge did not change at all. And what's wrong with it, you think?
Ain't got no gas in it.
Oh boy.
Somehow we went through 30 gallons of fuel between catching on fire and doing one 10-second burnout.
This thing's terrible on fuel.
This is horrible.
Biden would hate this truck. I know what's wrong with it. Ain't got no gas in it, bruh. Yes! Hell yeah! Yeah!
Feeling a little better with gas in it.
Yeah, look at Tugs. So you had a quarter tank.
I had a quarter tank and added 20 gallons of that E90 Ignite fuel.
So
It should have been
full.
Should have been at least 3/4 to almost full.
You drove it to the freaking burnout pad. You did like a rip and caught on fire.
That was it.
What in the hell?
It had to, but the weird part about it is when it was on the trailer. So technically, when I thought the fuel pump was running on the trailer, I turned all the batteries off. It should have been pouring out the damn injector hole because that O-ring was shot out of there. So it wasn't on the trailer though, unless that shit evaporated like super quick. We were gone for like 3 hours.
They probably literally pumped it all out.
I was like, oh shit, the fuel pump's on, and there's a hole in the system.
So you pumped all your fuel out probably while the truck was sitting there,
Right
and
on
it
my
all.
trailer, so don't go smoking by it.
Clean.
That's weird.
So I don't know if y'all could really hear what we were saying. So let me explain. When Brian got out there on the pool pad over at the Florida truck meet, got ready to start ripping on her, started ripping on her, he got so much pressure in the fuel system that actually blew that O-ring out, that injector O-ring, and that caused a leak in the fuel system where it was squirting fuel out onto the headers. Those headers, obviously, are scalding freaking hot, ignited that E90 fuel. That stuff's extremely flammable. That caught on fire and caused a little bonfire in Brian's truck. Well, he immediately shut everything off, and we got the fire put out. He got towed over to the side of the pad, but in doing so, I think the key got turned on, so for whatever reason, the fuel pump was left on. And it sat there like that for like 3 hours. Brian didn't realize it until he got back to the truck a couple hours later once we were done getting everything collected, getting the trailers, getting the truck, getting the show like kind of broke down. Once we were all ready to go, he got back to the truck, realized that the key was on and the fuel pump was running. His battery was still good. But what we're thinking happened is the fuel pump continued to run, and that little tiny hole, that little leak that was coming out of that O-ring, allowed fuel to be able to escape out of there. So though the engine had cooled back off, so it wasn't catching on fire anymore, luckily, thank God, but it pumped all the freaking fuel out of his truck onto his freaking trailer. So it wasn't immediate. It took like a couple hours for that to happen. It was like probably about 3 hours that the truck was sitting there on the trailer, but it pumped his entire tank of E90 out on his trailer. And that stuff's so freaking like potent and so flammable that it all evaporated before we even made it back to the trucks to even see that there was a problem or see that it was leaking at all. So he had like 20 gallons or so in the truck, and then he had put another 5 in it. So he had about 25 gallons of fuel in the fuel cell, and it was freaking bone dry. So that's why when we got everything back together, got it fired up, it ran for a second, ran the last little bit of fuel that maybe I guess was still in the fuel system, wherever, and then stalled out, wouldn't fire back up again, wouldn't hold fuel pressure because there's no freaking fuel in the truck. So yeah, bro, I know what's wrong with it. You ain't got no gas in it, bro. So Brian, let's fire this baby up and do some test rips.
Yeah, it's like breaking up a little bit. A little bit of it might even be the stalling and stuff. Could be because of the intake I put in. Yeah. Like more volume, not the same.
Yeah. Freaking driving. Well, y'all, all adrenaline is back up and freaking running. Safe to say we're going to freaking truck tugs tomorrow. Well, now that we got 1 second, though, I can actually show you some of the stuff that he did to this freaking beast of an engine. So the fuel regulator we were talking about, he swapped it back over now that we realized that the problem wasn't the fuel regulator. It was that he didn't put any freaking fuel in the truck. So that is the new big boy. What size is that, Brian?
Size of what?
The fuel regulator, the new one. It's size big boy size. Okay, he doesn't know. But look at the difference between the two of them. So he did that. Put the new intake on because the old one got all charred up when he had his little bonfire under here. And this new one is
aluminum.
aluminum.
So that's the Texas Speed intake. So we went with that just because it's all cast aluminum and it's a little bit more rigid. The fast intake one that we had was just composite, and it seemed to be flexing under the like high fuel pressure.
The actual up here was flexing?
No, the fuel rail where it connects on the side there basically sandwiches the injector between it.
Okay.
And it actually on the back injector, the number, basically 7 and 8, you could take it with your hands and actually spread it apart. And what happened was under a high spike of fuel pressure, I think it hit like 90 PSI, actually flexed the fuel rail far enough and blew an O-ring out.
So that's why the O-ring came out.
That's why the O-ring came out. So I think it was two things all like boiled down to one is it flexed so much that it spit the O-ring out, and I think the fuel regulator was too small and actually was building pressure instead of flowing the fuel back. So it should stay around 80 or 90, talking to Nate, and it may have spiked to 100 or 110 and actually like blew back, like built pressure and actually blew that out. So it was building too much fuel pressure instead of returning the fuel.
Oh, wow, okay. So it was flexing, which allowed it to loosen up, and then it had so much fuel pressure that it blew the O-ring out, and that's why you spit all your fuel out on your headers.
Yes, sir.
It's not really a good move, dude.
All of this.
What are you gonna do about that?
Probably leave it for now.
Very nice.
I gotta get a new piece for this. All the wiring harnesses are all fixed.
What, did you have to replace any of the wiring harnesses?
Yeah, basically all this is all new. A couple new connectors. That's basically it. My buddy Matt at Sparks and Shorts kind of came over and helped me out, replace some stuff. But I'm not real happy with the harness right now, just because we kind of like pieced it back together. Technically, I really want to pull it all out and do it like custom. Like you can kind of see, this is a little bit of a mess right here. It's all kind of sitting on top of the intake. It's just not really built for the exact application. But she's running though.
So why'd you have to do the aluminum spacer?
So the aluminum spacer, you can see better on this side, but this throttle body just basically ran right into all this crap. Got real close to the alternator and the idler pulley. So we built, so we built the spacer, put an O-ring on the top of it, and spaced it up to where this is flat again, and it's the right height. Technically, I could have went a little bit higher, but I just didn't want to like do too much with the air like spinning in there and getting all like jacked up. So this
was all one solid piece of aluminum. You machined it down.
Yeah, it was kind of a really
one
expensive
giant
way to
ring.
get a body lift for my for my intake, but we were in a pinch and it was the only option we had.
So it was spitting and sputtering a little bit when we were just ripping on it, and you were saying you think it's because the intake is larger than the fast one that you had before, right?
So there's more volume in this intake because of that spacer, and the last intake we had, which Zach can show you over there, actually has like velocity stacks in it that actually catch the air as it like rams in there. So I think with this intake, it's like maybe swirling in there and not having like a specific place to go, because it's basically just like an open cavity with like 8 holes. So I'm not 100% sure that this is going to be the final intake we end up with. It just seems to work.
But you could be getting too much air, so that would be why the tune might be acting a little funky.
Not necessarily too much air, just it not getting it cleanly. You know, it's not getting nice, clean air rammed in there.
Okay.
It's kind of getting like rammed in there and then whirling around.
Okay.
Could cause it to not burn as clean. But I'm gonna give it a shot.
Sounds good. Sweet. Thanks for the rundown, bro.
No problem, bud.
Well, y'all, that's a wrap on our, I don't even know what we're going to call this video. I know exactly what to call this freaking video. I know what's wrong with it, Brian. He didn't put no gas in it. You know what's freaking hilarious about this whole thing? Is we're not even making that up. So that whole thing that's going around TikTok where I guess I actually haven't even seen the original video, to be honest with you. I guess some guy had an issue with his truck, and he said, I know what's wrong with it. It ain't got no gas in it. So I've been hearing all y'all say that. Well, I had never heard that saying prior to the Miami Truck Show. Brian kept saying it, and he said it was some video that I needed to see. Still haven't seen it yet. But he kept saying this, and what's ironic about this is I never heard that saying before him, and then he has that freaking problem with his truck. Like, literally, the next problem he has after he fixed the fire stuff was he didn't put no gas in his truck. So how, in a way, that's not stage over none. That's 100% legit. So, basically, like he explained, he had that O-ring come out that I showed y'all earlier. The O-ring popped out of his injector, and I guess his fuel pump was continuing to run even after the truck had caught fire and everything because the key was still on. And apparently it just pumped all of his fuel out. So he had like 3/4 of a tank of fuel. I think he's got a 32-gallon fuel cell in there. So he had 20-something gallons of fuel. And then he said he added some more into it. He had like another 5 into it, I want to say. So it was like right around 25 gallons. He did 1 rip, and that was it. Drove it to the freaking burnout pad and did 1 rip. So we're like, all right, dude, there's no way you burned up freaking 30 gallons of fuel just in that little bit of time. So after a little bit more thinking, some input from Mr. Josh Mendenhall and the mad scientist doing a little thinking. They kind of came up with the conclusion that it must have pumped all of the fuel out through that little, where that O-ring was freaking missing. Pumped all the fuel out, must have went on the ground, and we didn't notice it because it's that E90 nasty freaking, that stuff smells like hell. If y'all haven't messed with that fuel he puts in his truck, that's that Ignite fuels, and it's E90, so it's a little more hardcore obviously than the E85, but that stuff smells like rotten ass fruit. Like fruit you took to the sandbar with you, put in your cooler, and forgot for 3 weeks until you went to go to the sandbar again, you open up the cooler. That's what that smells like. Oddly specific, but that's what it smells like. It's freaking awful. But it's basically like fermented corn, so that's why it smells like that. It is rotten fruit. But anyways, I guess that stuff being so freaking potent, it evaporated all out. Like, once it all pumped out on the ground, it must have evaporated by the time we made it back to the truck, or by the time he made it back to the truck to get it put on the trailer. So, yeah, thing was freaking bone dry. Freaking just enough fuel to get it to fire up and like half-assly idle for a second. As soon as he threw that extra 10 gallons of fuel in it, thing was running like a top. So we're all dialed in though. Obviously we're not taking the old Killin it to the freaking truck tugs tomorrow because well, the motor's still blown up. And I've had a couple people tell me, oh, you should take it there and just let it eat, like send that motor through the hood. No, because I'm not looking to do a whole bunch of extra work over and above what we already got to do. And if I had to guess, it would go catastrophically wrong and cause me a bunch more work. So that's why I'm not doing that. So instead, hopefully be able to go for a ride. Definitely with Mr. Adrenaline. I think I earned that by freaking helping him clean his truck and helping him get it running. Be able to go for at least one rip with him. Hopefully be able to ride a little bit with Slow Motion Alan. And I don't know who else is going to go to this event. The last time Trucks Gone Wild had an event at the barn in Sanford, like during the summertime like this, where it's so freaking hot, there wasn't a whole lot of trucks. I think there's like maybe 8 or 10 of us. So hopefully there's a little better turnout. I heard K-Haas is coming with that big K-Haas mega truck. That one that's like orange and greenish looking. So he'll be there. Slow Motion Alan will be there.
How about that?
Brian will be there. I know Little Blue's going, that little Ripper Jeep. And I'm not sure who else. So hopefully we can get to go for a whole lot of mega truck rides because I don't have a mega truck. Well, I do, but she's not alive at the moment. So hopefully we get to go for some sweet rides. So keep your eyes out. Keep watching the channel. Make sure you hit the like button at the bottom of this video. Hit the subscribe button down there in my channel name. That way you'll know when I upload any other videos, like more videos where we're bringing the Killin and mega truck back to life.
You can call that mental freeze when these people talk too much.
I got a feeling we're going to get some really good videos here coming up because the engine is supposed to be here in about 2 or 3 weeks. And we're going to start tearing in and building that new front axle that we're doing for it. We're going to start putting those fiberglass fenders on. What else we got to do to it? There's all kinds of stuff. So going to be all kinds of good videos for all that. And also I'm pretty sure the very next video after this one's going to be the freaking Trucks Gone Wild Truck Tugs, the barn in Sanford, Florida for their freaking summer event. Freaking Truck Tug Weekend. Oh, brother. Christmas comes not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times a year. You know why? Because you got regular Christmas and then you got 3 Truck Tug of War freaking weekends. Oh, brother. But anyways, keep an eye out for that video because that'll be coming your way. Freaking next one, letting you know. So I hope y'all enjoy the video. Thanks for watching, y'all. If y'all enjoyed the video and want to check out future videos, subscribe to our channel. Hit that button right there. While you're at it, hit the like button at the bottom of your screen. You can also check out our website, killin'itlifestyle.com. There you can follow the Killin It crew and order your own apparel so everyone will know you're